First of all, as I think I shared with you recently, and maybe was it, I don't remember when this was, maybe some of you weren't here, probably more than you needed to know about me, is that I don't use soap, shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste, or much of anything else. I have an organic handmade soap that I use to shave here and here, but that's it. I don't use soap anywhere else on my body. I bathe with water, and you're going to be horrified every 3, 4, 5 days. More often if I'm dating somebody, sleeping with somebody, sleeping alone. Not very often, less often, okay? Has anybody noticed that I smell bad? I don't smell bad, okay? Because when your body's clean, there are no foul odors. That's why there's no need for deodorant. Now, who's here from, no, someone's here from Toronto. I think we have, yeah, you're from here, from Toronto. No one's from Vancouver. No. It's actually quite a few years ago. I used to speak quite a bit in Vancouver every year, at least once. And I did a full weekend seminar in Vancouver, British Columbia, some years back, and talked about, this, you know, we had 3 full days. We talked about getting the body clean, not using these products. And I came back to speak at a big event. Anyone familiar with an organization called Earth Save International? Not heard of it. How many of you know who John Robbins is? Diet for a New America. Time magazine. Yeah, John Robbins was the heir to the Baskin-Robbins fortune. And he walked away from it, told his family he didn't want any of their money because he was a vegan and wasn't interested in their dairy money. And, or I guess he told us, you know, he did what he did, and I think his father actually cut him off. Decided he was out of the will because of his choices and actions, etc. I mean, he was telling people not to consume ice cream, among other things. And he wrote an amazing book called Diet for a New America, a groundbreaking book. It was actually very influential for me when it was published 25 or 30 years ago. And then he started an organization called Earth Save International, which teaches people some of the information. And one of the things that they do, or used to do, I don't know if they still do this, is they used to put on these big events where they bring in speakers and they'd have exhibits, and you know, it was like a 1 or 2 day event. I think it was a 1 day event usually, but like a full day event, they'd have vendors with booths, etc. And twice I was a keynote speaker at Earth Save International events. So there was an event in Vancouver just a few months where I was invited to be keynote speaker, along with John Robbins, who I'd never met until that point. In fact, I was standing there at the event getting mic'd up to be interviewed by some local TV program, I think. And I saw John Robbins walking across. It was this giant space. You know, we're in this big sort of meeting hall type of space. I mean, it's a huge municipal building. And I see John Robbins, you know, probably at 500, 300, 200 meters away. I see him walking. So I say, excuse me, and I walk away with these wires hanging off me. And I go over to John Robbins and I say, hi, John, I'm Loren Lockman. And he says, I know. And I walk away going, he knows who I am. How cool is that? The poster for the event had our pictures on it. So he'd seen my picture many times. So I was there to speak at this big event. And I always stayed at the same place when I was in there was a group of people that I think 6 adults that shared a mansion. They each had their own suite. There were 3 or 4 spaces inside the house that were big enough for groups of 30 or 40 people, and that's where I would speak. They would hold events there. They lived there. They would organize the events. They'd bring me in. I'd stay there in a guest room and speak there. And I was always there. And so all the locals knew I was coming back for this event. And there was a call one day, and someone hands me the phone, call for me, and it's a young man. I didn't even remember who he was. But because I'd done this weekend event 3 months earlier with 25 people, and he was one of the 25. I didn't really talk to him that much. He just happened to be there, and he said, "Hey, I wanted to know if maybe we could get together for lunch. Now, I value my private time. I'm an introvert, believe it or not. I don't have a lot of private time. I wasn't really that excited about having lunch with some, excuse me, kid, young guy I didn't really know. But then he said those magic words. He said, "I have fresh durian." It's one of my favorite fruits. And they're like $50 each, a fresh fruit. They're big, they're 7 to 10 pounds, but they're like $50. And he said, "I've got fresh durian." And I said, "What time can you be here?" And I'm sitting in the backyard getting some sun when he walks around the corner of the building, maybe 50 meters away. And I swear to you, I could smell him coming. And he comes over to me and he says, "Guess what?" I said, "What?" He said, "I've stopped bathing and using deodorant." And I said, "I know." I know. And if someone can tell, it may be a little too soon, right? He hadn't fasted yet. He hadn't gotten his body clean. I mean, you change your diet, your body starts cleansing, but nothing like fasting. So most of you, by the time you're done here, I mean, some of you have been more than a tiny bit ripe, right? In fact, someone asked me if I could remind everyone to check in, maybe ask your roommate, ask a buddy, ask someone you trust, ask me if you'd like, whether you need to shower or not, because some of you probably do. Some of you are going to need to bathe maybe a little bit more than you are. Some people are bathing every day and probably don't need to do that because it uses a lot of energy. But some people aren't bathing at all, and that might be a problem too. This guy needed to bathe more often and probably still needed something, temporarily at least, until he got his body clean. Okay? So eventually you'll get to the point, if your body's really clean and you maintain an optimal diet, where you won't need any of these products and you'll be much better off without them, because most of them are toxic. Most personal care products are toxic. We talked about toothpaste yesterday. But other personal care products aren't a lot better. Okay? Most of them contain ingredients you can't pronounce. Yes, there are organic versions which might be better, but still, I mean, even the organic versions, at least in North America, the company does not have to put on the label anything that is less than 1% of the total. So if it's got 0.75% of gasoline in it, they don't have to tell you that. Okay? It probably doesn't, but it could. Okay? Just so you know. Better to avoid these products when you can. And in fact, it's interesting, if you think about it, most people take things like using toothpaste for granted. When Colgate-Palmolive invented the first toothpaste some years ago, the first commercial toothpaste in a tube, it took them 2 years of marketing to convince anyone to buy it. No one had ever used toothpaste before. Why would they need this stuff? Okay? Now everyone thinks it's something they need to do every day. By the way, speaking of marketing, what four words doubled the sales of a very common personal care product? This is marketing. Anyone? Lather, rinse, and repeat. Because it didn't work the first time? What kind of crummy product is it that didn't work the first time I did it? Now I got to do it again? They're just trying to sell you more product. Use it twice every day and you're going to go through it faster. Okay? If you insist on using shampoo, which I wouldn't do. By the way, those of you that are here for 4 weeks or longer, if you don't wash your hair, with the exception of with water, your hair is likely to get a little greasy during the process. But by the time you're finished, your scalp will be balanced and you won't need shampoo anymore. Okay? And I know I might not be the most credible model for shampoo, but I used to have more hair. Okay? I still wash the 2 or 3 that I have.
I started doing
with water.
Yeah, I started doing that, and actually my hair's feeling really good.
Yeah. I mean, so I stopped using shampoo nearly 30 years ago when I still had a lot of hair. I actually had a ponytail at the time. It was not a pony, but
You still floss and brush with water?
I never flossed.
What, brush with water?
I brush with water. Yeah, I've always hated flossing, and I'm basically, yeah, lazy. I'm basically lazy. I've never flossed. I flossed like 4 times in my life. I floss with mangoes. How you eat a mango, you get the thing stuck in your teeth. Eventually it works its way out all by itself, and you've just flossed your teeth. That's how I floss.
What about oil pulling and baking soda and things like that?
What about oil pulling with baking soda?
Coconut oil.
I'm just,
'Cause I
okay.
scrub, at home I scrub my teeth with baking soda and coconut oil, but
Yeah.
what about oil pulling, sort of swishing coconut oil?
Yeah, the question was, what about oil pulling? I wouldn't personally put oil in my mouth. Your mouth is designed to begin absorbing nutrients. You don't want to consume any oil. So there's no reason to do oil pulling. There's no reason to use baking soda. You don't need anything, okay? That's kind of the message. You don't need anything. Get your body clean, and just water is all you're going to need, honestly. Like, it works over and over again, okay? Any other questions about this?
Do your feces smell?
No.
Can you prove it?
My garbage analysis.
Yeah, you're welcome to come in the bathroom with me if you like. It's okay with me. I'm not shy. Well, in fact, listen, again, all of you are going to find that by the time you've eliminated all the nasty old material still in your system, if you're eating only fruit and salad, and raise your hand if you've already experienced this. You don't have to fast this. If you eat only fruit and salad long enough, your bowel movements will be quick, easy, painless, clean, and odor-free. Raise your hand if you've had that experience. They don't smell bad. They smell like fruit, okay? That's what's going to happen for everybody here. Once your system's clean, you're going to be eliminating some nasty old stuff. It's going to be very foul. How many of you have already had that experience? Eliminating some very foul stuff, okay? Once that stuff's out of your body, if you're only eating fruit and salad, your bowel movements will not smell bad. They won't. Do you need to scrub yourself?
Yes.
No necesita. You can use a wet washcloth if you want, but you don't need anything more than that. There's no reason to scrub, okay? The exfoliation will happen all by itself. The skin will come off. You can speed it along a little bit, but there's no reason to be using anything harsh.
When you say bathe, do you mean take a bath or shower?
Shower.
And then what temperature water do you do? Does that matter, you think?
It does matter, absolutely. The water should be ideally, tepid, warm, but not hot. If anyone here has an issue with dry skin, hot water will dry your skin more. So if you're bathing in hot water, you're going to come out more dry. Okay?
So like, what temperature are you thinking? Like body temperature kind of, or?
Well, body temperature is not going to feel warm. To feel warm, it's got to be warmer than your body temperature.
Sure.
So it's okay for it to be warm. It can be warmer than the body temperature. Doesn't have to be. It does not need to be cold, and there's no advantage to cold water.
Anything about saunas or steam rooms?
Saunas and steam rooms dramatically overheat your body, causing you to sweat, which most people are already dehydrated. You're going to sweat, you're going to lose electrolytes. People think that they're cleansing that way. There's relatively little cleansing that's happening through your skin. How do we do most of the cleansing from the body?
Kidneys and liver?
It's the kidneys in particular. Your liver's job is to break down toxic substances that enter your system. Once the liver is broken down, alcohol, for instance, where does it go? What does the body do with it?
Tease it out?
I'm sorry?
Tease it out?
Yeah, it's
From the
it's
kidneys.
sent directly to the kidneys to be eliminated through the kidneys. So you're excreting most toxic substances through your kidneys, not so much through the skin. We sweat primarily to regulate temperature, not for detox. Now, if your body's more toxic, A, it's going to be hotter, your body's going to be running at a higher temperature, and B, your body's going to be using every channel it can to detoxify. So there will be more detoxification through the skin if your other channels are overwhelmed. But generally speaking, when your body's clean, there'll be relatively little sweating and relatively little detoxification. So it's not like there's huge benefits to saunas and steam rooms. and you're overheating your body and potentially losing electrolytes and etc. Hi, enjoying my videos? If you'd like to learn much more, check out the Academy for Vibrant Living, where our Vibrant Health course will teach you everything you need to know to take your health to an amazing new level. And if you'd like to turn your passion for health into a lucrative career, check out the Health Coaching course, where you can become a professional certified health coach and help as many people as possible see amazing results.